Alright, this is the start of part 2 of the chapter 5 notes. Here we're going to focus on classical India and the class and caste systems available there at that time. The origins of the caste system, the term actually is Portuguese, meaning race or purity of blood, aren't really all that clear. A conventional explanation, or the traditional explanation, points towards an Aryan invasion, where Aryans invaded and subjugated the indigenous peoples. But lately that theory has started to be revised and critiqued a lot. But regardless of whether or not that's true or there's actually some other reason, we do know that by the year 500 BCE, most people living in India saw the caste system as pretty timeless and a natural consequence of the world making by the version of the god known as Portia. These theories see caste as timeless and unchanging, but research indicates that it's actually a little bit flexible between the social groups as a way to absorb outside groups. And we'll get into that a little bit more, but I'm going to use the example of Alexander the Great's men when we get there. So when it comes to the twice-born Aryans, the first three or true blood groups in the caste system, these priests and warriors and commoners are deemed to be twice born in the sense that there's believed that they are born into that particular body, but also into the caste as well, that they had to have purified their soul in a previous life. The Shudras were held to be non-Aryans who worked as servants of and laborers for the Aryan caste. The Untouchables are the group that is really kind of outside of, not even good enough to be included within the four caste system. These occupy the most unclean professions. These are the ones that deal with handling dead bodies, dealing with meat, cleaning bathrooms in the sewage system kind of jobs. Something that's not listed in your notes that you probably want to be thinking of are where are the commonalities so far. Think about the issues of birth and how birth affects your social position. Think about how social mobility and how easy is it or how hard is it to switch social position in both China and India. Think about the distinctions. How does your social class affect the way you live your life? And then how does the religion or the cultural tradition either support or break down the society stratification? All right, so as we continue, we're talking about caste and how caste is part of the way society is structured. Caste as jati. Within the four major castes, people are divided into subgroups, specific professional or guild-like organizations. Most of these groups are hereditary. They look after their economic interests and they even police moral behavior within their own group. As professions create, and become more complex and more professions are included, this proliferates into an increasingly complex society. Hundreds and then thousands of these jati structures that employ and control the social world of India develop. Individuals would eat and marry within their own jati. This reaffirms both their membership of that group and that group's position in the collective whole of society. You do not marry outside of your jati. The concept of purity, pollution, and privilege becomes a mere obsession with the ideas of elite class purity and lower class. Brahmin are particularly worried about physical contact with the lower class orders, who clean latrines, handle corpses, or work with meat. So you will see things like in a couple of slides, a picture of a Hindu Brahmin paying workers, and he wraps the money that he has touched in a leaf so that he does not have to touch their hands, and then he drops it in their hands. I mean, it's that level of obsession, and it goes on long enough. I mean, we're talking about, around the start of the current era and the photograph. I mean, it's an actual photograph that's taken, so that's 1940s-ish. Kind of crazy that things last that long. But the elite also experience special privileges that are denied to subordinate populations. So, for example, women in the lower social castes were not allowed to cover their breasts in front of the elite caste. Women of the elite caste could cover their breasts. So that was one way to associate with the ability to cover yourself. It sounds really weird, like whether or not you can wear clothing, but that was a way to subjugate and separate the races. The concepts of karma, dharma, and rebirth. Because Hinduism served to justify social inequities, the concept of karma is how one's past actions determine the future status. at birth and as considering the Jatis were hereditary. Many people understood karma to govern social inequities, giving it this kind of religious sanction. Likewise, an individual who is obligated to follow their path in this life, not just to be a good member of society, but to fulfill their religious obligations, that's dharma. And then the two together reflect your situation or your station at the time of rebirth. How does caste actually function? Jati membership makes somebody part of an immediate and self-governing community, and it's heredity based. It means that the control is local, not the need for this kind of overarching, governing, strong state system like you have in, say, Han China or Rome. The system provides not only an identity for you, but a mechanism of support and security for people in that jati. So, lack of a better phrase, it's kind of like somebody saying, well, at least I'm not, insert a lower class here. The flexible system does allow assimilation for new arrivals. You can't change your caste, but the jati are kind of subcastes that are categorized within the caste. So, for example, when Alexander the Great and his men come across early on, the Hindu system was able to create a jati that absorbs them as warriors into the warrior caste and then fits them within the ranking within that. So this ability to kind of flexible within and create new jati allows the caste system to absorb changes in time. The system also is for exploitation. It allows the wealthy and the powerful to rationalize exploitation of paying labor or mistreating the lower social classes because they are quote unquote unpure. It's their fault and therefore they deserve mistreatment. Does that mean everybody gets mistreated? No. But it does kind of create this self-fulfilling prophecy. Here's that picture I was talking about earlier, and you can read by the caption